Hey guys, what's up? Aaron Garza here. Hope y'all are doing good today. It is Thursday afternoon here, and we're headed over to the warehouse. I was at the gym, did a little cardio, and as I was finishing up, I was on the stepper and I was looking at our YouTube channel, and I saw some of the videos that we do, we get a ton of views on, especially the ones regarding building muscle and prohormones and DHEA pros and SARMs and all that stuff. So I thought I'd do something a little cool today and give you guys a little rundown on that, give you a little information. But let me pull in here, and this is our warehouse that it's kind of our main distribution point for Pureline. It's where we send all of our stores here in Texas product, and also if you order from us online at our website, we ship everything out of here too. All right, here we are. Okay, so we're here at our Pureline warehouse in San Antonio. For those of you out here who've never been to our warehouse, well, let me walk you in and kind of tell you a little bit about us. Obviously, if you followed our channel for any time at all, or if you shop at Pureline, you know that we specialize in making products that actually work, that help people get good results. I think we've been doing this now for almost 10 years, I believe we've been in this business. And it's always revolved around creating stuff that actually helps people change, that helps them lose fat, build muscle, all that stuff. And like I said earlier, one of the things I was doing today when I was doing my cardio is I was going through our YouTube channel, and I kept noticing that the videos that got the most views were those videos that actually had something to do with building muscle, burning fat, DHEA prohormones, anything along that line. Some of our older videos that dealt with SARMs back when we were selling SARMs online had a ton of views, and rightly so. There's a ton of good information that can be garnered from those videos, so they're good info. Just check them out. But it's got me to thinking, what is it that guys want? What do you guys really want to see, and what do you guys really want to do? Number one, I can tell you that most of the guys that watch our channel are into building lean muscle tissue, burning fat, looking good, creating a really lean physique. And that's what we try to deliver. We also have a lot of stuff out there in our content for women and people just normally who just want to change their bodies, look better and feel better. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down something that I think is really important. And that is what to do when you're taking a prohormone like our Testojet or EpiShred, how to maximize it. And the reason I wanted to do that, not only because I know you guys are interested in that, but is because a lot of times people come into our stores, or they go online to our website and they order Testojet and EpiShred and all these awesome mass building compounds, and they don't maximize them. They get about 50% of the results that they could be getting because they're not doing the things that would help them get 100% of the results. So let's kind of break down the 5 things that I think you should do when you're taking a prohormone, an anabolic, something that helps you build muscle. Let's walk to the back real quick. Nobody's here right now. It's after 5 o'clock, so we should be good to talk. Absolutely, without a doubt, if somebody came into a retail store, or if you were out there and you spoke to me online and you said, hey Aaron, what can I do to build lean muscle? How can I put on 12 pounds in the next month? Testojet, without a doubt. I'd put you on 2 of these a day, but I couldn't just leave you there. I couldn't just say, hey man, take Testojet, see what happens, lift hard, blah, blah, blah. There's parameters that have to be followed within those guidelines. There's things that you have to do to accelerate and get the most out of your results. And the number one thing, which most people don't do right from the bat, is get enough protein in. I mean, any anabolic hormone, prohormone, SARM, even a steroid for that matter, it all works off of the whole idea that it's going to help you synthesize more protein. In other words, you're going to utilize more protein for muscle growth. That's one of the key ways that it works. So if you're not intaking enough protein, you're not going to get the results you could get. So that's rule number one. Make sure you're getting a ton of protein. Now, what's enough protein, Aaron? It depends. Everybody is different, and it also depends. It depends on a couple of things. Number one, digestion, how you assimilate protein. Number two, it also has a lot to do with the type of training you're doing. If you're training extremely intensely, which you should be while you're on a prohormone, SARM, anabolic, anything, then you should be intaking a lot more protein than the average person that's maybe doing, a typical 3-day-a-week split, not working out real hard. So If you are, I'd recommend taking in at least 1.5 grams per pound of body weight in protein daily, spread over 5 to 6 meals. That could mean 40 to 50 grams every 3 hours. And that's usually the best way to do it, is just from the time you wake up, every 3 hours, start taking about 45 to 50 grams of protein. This could be in a shake, like an isofactor. If you check this out, this is our whey isolate protein. Isolate's a great protein because it's easily absorbed. I mean, the body takes it in quickly. It's easily digestible. There's no lactose. There's no gluten. There's nothing that just makes you full. You can drink this in about an hour and a half. You're ready to go again. So if you're somebody who needs a quick, clean source of protein, isolate is the way to go. Ours is called isofactor. But that's number one. You've got to get enough protein in. When you're using a prohormone, an anabolic substance, SARM, anything like that, make sure that the protein level is high and that you're getting a good amount of that protein every 3 hours while you're awake. Okay, that's number one. Number two, something that I think a lot of guys neglect is you've got to train intensely, man. You've got to train hard. You've got to train intensely with heavy weights. You're in a space, so to speak, where you're able to recover much more rapidly from your training because you have helpers. You know, you have testosterone available in the bloodstream. You have nandrolone through Epishred that's available to help you build lean mass, burn fat, increase density and size and thickness. So if you're not training hard, you're not giving your body the stimulus it needs to create growth, to utilize all that protein. So that's rule number two. If you're going to do anything like this, if you're going to do an Epishred or Testojet cycle, which if you are an experienced trainer and you're somebody who's been working out for a long time and you're just not seeing the results, I highly recommend that you start something like this. But you need to train hard. Make sure that your training is intense, that it's hard, that you're pushing yourself to the limit, somewhere in the 6 to 8 rep range. Heavy weights, compound movements, use all the muscle groups. When you're training chest, do a lot of compound chest pressing. When you're doing back rows, leg press, squat, stuff like that. So just the idea of training intensely will create an environment which will allow stuff like this to work. Now the third thing that I think is something that's really overlooked, but it's important, is cycle length. So most prohormones, Epishred, Testojet, most products that you'll find out there, even SARMs for the most part, you'll find that they're only available in about 4-week supplies. And 4 weeks kind of puts a cap on what somebody does when they do a cycle. So sometimes they look at the bottle like, well, this is a 4-week cycle. I'm just going to do 4 weeks. Then I'm going to do a post-cycle therapy or something. And the problem with that is that you're really not giving it enough time. 4 weeks is just kind of that midpoint, right when you're starting to really see results from your SARM, your prohormone, your anabolic, whatever cycle you're doing. 4 weeks is kind of just the peak time. You're just starting to get into the good, part of that cycle. So I'd really recommend, if you're going to do a pro, you're going to do a SARM, you're actually going to do a cycle with, juice or whatever, make sure that you actually go past that 4-week mark and do at least 8 weeks. Just kind of push it into the 8-week mark. That's where you're going to see the best results. Even 12 is probably better than that. Just keep an eye on your results. I always tell guys, look, see what you're doing around week 4. If week 4 is looking good, you're seeing the changes you want to see, just push it another 4 weeks. Granted, everything stays consistent. If you're getting your blood work checked, make sure your blood looks good, make sure you feel good, make sure everything is going the right way. But I really think people need to push it past that 4-week mark, go to at least 8 to see the best results. Now, the next step in the laws of prohormone use per se is post-cycle therapy. A lot of guys will stop. They'll get on this stuff. They stop right at the 8th week and that's it, they're done. They don't think about post-cycle. They don't think about what they can do to help their body recover. And most importantly, what can they do to retain the lean mass that they put on? What can they do to actually help that? Every time I send a cycle out, I send a little PCT booklet out. And this booklet has a lot of information, but most importantly, it says here, holding on to hard-earned gains. That's the key. I mean, think of it this way. If you can get on an 8-week cycle of Testojet and Epishred and you put on, let's just say 14 pounds, and you can retain at least 8 of those pounds, and you can do that twice a year, that's 16 pounds a year. In 2 years, that's 30 pounds. I mean, that's a lot of lean tissue that you can put on, but you've got to make sure that you are following the right post-cycle therapy protocol. What is that? What should you be doing? Okay, so when you finish a cycle, one of the first things you can do is something like our post-cycle therapy and our T-drive. And I always recommend these for guys during that off time, because essentially, like I said, one of the most important things you're doing during that time is not only restoring natural testosterone, making sure your baseline testosterone is going back up, but at the same time, you're helping your body retain the lean muscle tissue it's put on over the last 8 to 12 weeks that you've been on Testojet or EpiShred or any of other pro-hormone, pro-muscle building products. So PCT's got a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, it's got endo-3-carbinol to help you control estrogen, because you got to remember, as testosterone levels start to decline, estrogen levels start to go up. That increases water retention, fatty tissue, all the stuff you don't want. This kind of puts a stop to that. So we have endo-3-carbinol, Bulgarian tribulus, ZMA, just a lot of good stuff that will help drive natural testosterone levels up while helping you retain your size. And then I always like to throw T-Drive in, because essentially this is just a pure straight D-aspartic acid formula. D-aspartic acid has a ton of studies that show that it increases testosterone naturally, so I can combine these. Now, if you're really serious, you want to see the best results post-cycle, add Arimidex to that. Arimidex is an anti-estrogen. And again, like I said, one of the biggest issues that people face when they come off a cycle, again, whether it's, testosterone, prohormone, SARMs, whatever it may be, is the increase in estrogen. They start saying, man, I look soft, I look soggy, I look flat, I just don't have that same crisp, hard look. And again, your body is kind of going through a re-regulation process where estrogen levels are starting to climb while testosterone levels are starting to decline. Arimistane, which is the main ingredient in Arimidex, will help prevent that, along with the ingredients in PCT. So these three together should always be used after a good pro-hormone cycle of Testojet and EpiShred. So keep that in mind. It's something that you're going to want to do, and it's one of the more important things that should be done after you do a pro-hormone cycle. Okay, and the last thing, guys, the most important thing I think through all of this is just be patient. A lot of people, especially in today's world where technology and social media and Instagram has programmed our mind to just expect quick results and see things super fast. When it comes to your body's going to work and change at its own pace. So just be patient, let it happen. When you don't see results in 4 weeks, go another 4. Give it the time it needs. You'll see the results. Granted, you're training, you're eating right, you're taking in the protein, you're taking the right compounds, you're giving your body all the tools necessary to start changing. It'll happen, but you've just got to be patient. Don't expect it to happen overnight. So don't get frustrated. If you start taking Testojet, EpiShred, and you've been working out for a week and you're like, dude, I don't have, veins all over, and I'm not thick, and I'm not hard, and I'm not dense yet. Give it time. Give it time. Keep doing all the things on a daily basis that you need to do to see the changes, and you will. I guarantee you, it happens all the time. We get guys that do everything right after 4 weeks, and they come in like, man, I can't imagine what's going to happen after another 4 weeks. So just be patient. Give it time. Progress, slowly, and retain the gains that you put on during your cycle. Those are some of the more important key points of doing a good pro-hormone cycle. So again, take a look back at the video, kind of go through the things that I've said, in terms of eating enough protein, making sure you're training hard, putting your cycle together at the appropriate lengths of time so that you have at least a good 8 weeks to really get the most results from it, making sure that you've got your post-cycle therapy covered, making sure that you're patient and let things happen at their own pace. Do all those things and you're going to start to see changes in your body. And I kind of wanted to put that video out today because, like I said, when I look through all of our videos on YouTube, that seems to be the most common thread that I see is guys really want to know more about getting big, burning fat, creating a leaner, harder physique, and we're going to try to give you more of that stuff over the next few months. So I hope you got something out of that video, guys. If you did, be sure and subscribe to our channel, like and share if you're watching this on social media. Have a great one. We'll talk to y'all soon.